It's at the movie theater. The lights are blinking. We have 1 minute.
Well, the best solution would be you to pick the engineer and they pay for it. It would be part of your application fee if you have to have a traffic study.
I'm not cold at all. I'm hot, actually. Having these personal summers around here. It's 6 o'clock. All righty. We'll call to order the Douglasville City Council's legislative work session for tonight, which is Monday, March the 13th, 2025. Our invocation will be done by the illustrious Pastor James Harper of First Presbyterian Church of Douglasville, and then our Mayor Pro Tem will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand for the invocation.
Can I say one thing real quick before I do this? A friend of mine, Henry Green, is a pastor at Trinity World Christian Center, and I started a couple years ago hosting multiracial church worship gatherings around Thanksgiving, because we don't think that the church was intended to be the kind of segregated group it is on Sunday mornings, but wanted to bring people across racial lines together, and we decided we ought to give it a name. So we named it Unite Douglas, and we're going to expand it to picnics and serve days, as well as worship events. And the first of the picnic day, the social gathering day, is going to be May 3rd, first Saturday of May. And we're going to be at the new Jesse Davis Park. I'm really excited about that, and would love to have y'all come join us. We had Terry with us at the last Thanksgiving gathering, and I think it's just great work to be done here.
What time?
It's going to be kind of 11 to 2 o'clock. The time frame?
Thank you.
Anyway, thanks for indulging me in that. Let's pray. Eternal God, we give you thanks for just the many blessings we've received from you. We give you thanks for the grace that sustains our lives. We give you thanks for the relationships that are so meaningful to us. We're thankful for this community. And God, I'm thankful for the city council leaders and for the staff of the city. I pray that you would pour out your wisdom and strength and courage upon them, bless them with all that they need to do their work. We pray that you would just create deeper and stronger unity within this county and the city, and that there would be great flourishing because of the wisdom of our leadership and because of your grace building that flourishing. We look to you for all that is good, and we're come with grateful hearts today. And we pray these things in Christ's name. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for leading us in the pledge, and Pastor Harper, thank you for the invocation. We look forward to the service, and you also sponsor the recycling event at First Presbyterian. I think it's technology. Do you know when it is? I know, but Emily does. She's getting ready to tell me. When is it? So it's at First Presbyterian. I don't know how many years you guys been doing it, but it's been a lot of years.
It's Saturday, April 26th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Friday, April 26th?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yes.
9
a.m. to 2 p.m. And
9
that
to 2.
is sponsored by our Keep Douglasville Beautiful department.
I know, and it's a blessing. The First Presbyterian hosts that every year. It's kind of like a drive-through thing. You bring your technology and recycle through there, so thank you. Thank you. Have a good evening. Welcome to the Douglasville City Council Legislative Work Session. My name is Rochelle Robinson. I'm mayor of the city of Douglasville. This is a work session where items will be discussed this evening, but we will not vote on those items until next Monday at our voting meeting. But I'd like to welcome you to this meeting. And I'll go over a few protocol items, and then I'll give you how the agenda will be handled, and we'll get into the meat of the meeting. Excuse me. Protocol, I ask that you please keep your comments and presentations on a professional level dealing with the facts that are important for this governing body to make our decisions. We will not accept comments that are considered by the chair to be of a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. We'll ask you, if you deviate from a warning that we give you, the second deviation will result in us requesting that you leave the chambers. One person speaking at a time. Please do not applaud or react to speakers. Speak from the audience, cheer, or carry on a conversation when you're at the podium. We ask when you come to the podium, you'll just present your information, wait, and present that to the committee chair, myself, council members, and we'll respond accordingly. If you have a cell phone or electronic device, I ask you to please put those in silent mode or turn those off until after the meeting so they will not be disruptive. If you would like to speak, we ask that you would please come forward and give your name and address for the record. There are cards outside on the desk. They're blue speaker cards. You fill the card out, hand it to our city clerk, Ms. Vicki Acker, to my right, and then you'll come to the podium and you have 5 minutes to talk to us about anything that's germane to the city of Douglasville. Now, the agenda items will be handled in the following manner. The committee chairperson will read the agenda item, then that person representing that agenda item or applicant will make his or her presentation. Myself and council members will possibly ask clarifying questions to help us make a determination on how we will vote next Monday. After that, the committee chairperson, if it's a public hearing, will give 20 minutes for those to speak in favor of the item and 20 minutes for those to speak in opposition, and each person has 5 minutes in totality to speak. Again, when you come to the podium, give your name and address for the record. This is not question and answer, debate, going back and forth. We're here to hear the information, deliberate, and make our decision on Monday. I believe that's it. If you have any documentation that you would like to have distributed to myself and council members, we ask that you please give it to Ms. Acker, and she will make copies and disseminate that information to myself and council members. So that's a whole lot of instructions. Hopefully we're all on the same page. There are paper copies outside if you'd like to have them for the meeting, and or you can follow us on the screen above. All righty. Now we will get into the meeting. This is our legislative work session. We go by committees, and we do have an announcement for Douglasville's Main Street 2025 reaccreditation, and that's by Victoria Collier. Good to see you. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. Victoria Collier, Main Street Coordinator, 6695 Church Street.
Yes, ma'am.
Make it lower. Georgia Main Street Accreditation and Douglasville's 2024 recertification is the topic I have for this evening. The Georgia Main Street Accreditation is a prestigious recognition awarded annually to downtown programs that meet rigorous performance standards set by the Georgia Main Street Program and the National Main Street Center. The accreditation signifies a community's commitment to economic vitality, historic preservation, and community engagement, ensuring the Main Street District remains thriving destinations for businesses, residents, and visitors. So we are proud to share that Douglasville Main Street has once again been reaccredited as a Georgia Main Street community. The accreditation reflects the dedication of our local leaders, businesses, and volunteers in making downtown Douglasville a vibrant and welcoming place. So some facts for you all. Over the past year, our Main Street District has seen tremendous growth and engagement. Some key highlights include more than 1 million visitors to downtown Douglasville in 2023, reinforcing its role as a major destination for shopping, dining, and entertainment. We've also hosted several events, including but not limited to our Food Truck and Music Mondays, To Our Progress, Hydrangea Festival, Restaurant Week, and many other signature events. I'd like also to highlight our upcoming event on March 22nd, our Main Street Market. That's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Warden Park across the railroad tracks and Veterans Memorial. So all are encouraged to attend if they can. In addition, the Douglasville Main Street program does a monthly community impact report. That data is compiled yearly for an annual report. And some highlights I'd like to share is that in the last year, 2024, we had 93 promotional events citywide, and the attendance for that event was an estimate of 1.2 million. So in conclusion, Douglasville's continued Georgia Main Street accreditation is a testament to the hard work of our business owners, city officials, and community members who invest in downtown success. And we look forward to another year of growth, celebration, and community impact in 2025. Thank you so much for your time.
All righty. Thank you so much, Ms. Victoria. You were fast and furious. I'm going to ask a couple of questions and have council, no, you did a great job, and have council ask any questions as well. So I know you posted, and you said it wasn't limited to some of those signature events that we hosted.
Yes, ma'am. You want to hear the whole list, or?
No, I was missing Stranger Things.
Oh, yes, yeah.
That we have every year. I know that's like a big deal. And then the Christmas, I don't see is Christmas on here?
Yes, the Christmas parade and Main Street's mistletoe market are.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, mistletoe market, that's
Yes,
what it
ma'am.
is. And the Christmas parade and tree lighting. I apologize. I see, I'm talking about you going fast. I'm going fast too. I missed something.
No, it's okay.
Well, thank you so much. It's exciting for us to be part of the Main Street program for the state of Georgia. And we tried to do that to promote and bring people downtown so that they can shop and enjoy and eat and have a nice family time and just single time, just being downtown. Do we have any comments from council members? Anyone have anything to say? Nope. All right. Thank you so much. We look forward to the reaccreditation.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, we'll move on then to the next committee, which is Economic Development Committee. That's chaired by Mayor Pro Tem City Councilmember Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business at this time under the Economic Development Committee.
Thank you, sir. Finance Committee chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have 4 items tonight.
Yes, sir.
Item A, which is item 25-033, authorize the mayor to sign a contract with Mike Westmoreland Contracting Inc. for the West Pines Golf Course, RFB 2024-016, golf irrigation sprinklers replacement and new irrigation controls project in the amount of $1,225,900, funded by our SPLOST 2022, and Mr. Cartwright is going to shed any more light on this that we need.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Chris
Good evening,
Cartwright,
Chris.
9090 Rose Avenue. So we're excited to bring this before you tonight. We put this RFB out for bid November 25th, and we gave the contractors roughly 2 months to get their bids in. We did only receive 1 bid for this job, but it is a contractor that did the driving range renovation with us last year. So we're very familiar with their work, their quality of work, and we feel comfortable with moving forward with them at the golf course level. A little information on this project: we will be replacing all of the sprinkler heads on the golf course, which is 485 of them. Wow. All the electrical components with the irrigation system. So as it currently functions, our system is 100% manual, meaning if you want to put water on a green or a fairway, you're turning that sprinkler head on with a screwdriver or a valve control. Wow. The new system will be controlled through the satellite system that will be housed at the golf course, and we can water greens and fairways overnight instead of doing it while staff and customers are on the facility. We will also be putting roughly 12 miles of wire into the ground to do this. So you can kind of get a sense for why this is a big project. With the price tag it has, it will be a lot of work.
So we've joined the 21st century officially here.
We're working on it.
All right, sounds good. Any questions or comments? We'll start with Mayor Pro Tem since he had his hand up first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I can't speak from a platform of knowledge when it comes to golf course construction costs, so I'm sort of a little bit in the dark here. I mean, obviously, $1.225 million is a lot of money, no matter what. I have to admit, I'm a little bit uncomfortable spending $1.25 million with only one bidder. I appreciate your confidence in the contractor and so forth, and I know that we can't force anybody to bid on the project, and I'm wondering if it might be worth our while just to consider opening it a little bit longer. I don't know if that time frame was adequate or not, but, you know, my numbers show, you know, $68,105 per hole and $2,528 per sprinkler head. And I know that's not a fair number to work off of because you've got the wiring, you've got the control system and so forth, but I would be curious to know if you look at it that way, if there's any way of comparing that number to other construction projects and other courses. I mean, do we have a basis of comparison to look at this number other than to say, well, that, you know, things are expensive right now?
We hired a consultant to help put this RFB together for us, who just does irrigation systems all around I'm going to say the southeast. And it's slightly above what he anticipated, but not much. And I think it's just the world we're in with imports and costs of things going up. And to speak to the cost of the project, it's also a ton of labor, and the contract is giving them 150 days to do the job. So it's an extended period of time where their crew will be on site, dedicated to us to make sure that it's done on time.
Do we have, I looked a little bit at the contract, but do we have liquidated damages on this?
We do. We do. It's, let's see, it's $500 a day after the 150 days.
Okay, so we do have a guaranteed time limit on it.
Correct.
And that, I assume, has the weather days built into it?
You got 150 days.
Good, okay. All right, that's all I have at the moment.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Any other comments or questions for Mr. Cartwright? And he and I talked earlier about the one bid, but, you know, we had, how many bids do we have on the bunkers?
I want to say we had either 3 or 4.
Yeah,
And I think the issue with this project is, in golf construction world, it's maybe a little too small to get some of the national companies interested in sending their crew to do it. So you're getting down to regional and state companies, and it's a smaller pool.
It's because they're working with more than 18 holes? Well, I guess it could be working with 36 some weeks.
I think a lot of it is new construction is really picked up, so they want to do an entire golf course from start to finish rather than a renovation project.
Gotcha.
okay. Well, yes.
Thank you, Chairman. And forgive me if this was already asked. How long is this project going to take?
150 days is what they are allowed in the contract.
Okay. And how will that work with the golf course up and running? Will it just be like a couple holes at a time?
It will be similar to what we did with the bunker project, where it will
Okay.
be at most a couple holes. But with this project, we actually will have a little bit more flexibility to limit the closure. If they're working around a green, we will have to close that hole. But if they're working in the fairway or around the tee boxes, we can move the tee box around to keep that hole open.
All right, that makes sense. Thank you for that.
Yep.
Yes. Councilwoman Hudson.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate the presentation. I apologize, I missed it as well. I was trying to play catch-up with Councilwoman Miller on another item. How long does this type of project usually last before it's going to have to be replaced?
The lifetime of the project, assuming we do this project, how long it's going to last. It's a 20 to 30-year investment, hopefully more, with some quality maintenance by our staff. One of the features in this new system is some lightning protection that our current system doesn't have. So pretty much every time we get a storm with some lightning, if we get a strike near the golf course, we lose sprinkler heads and are out there replacing them. And we're going to see a drastic reduction in that with this system.
Okay. And did you mention, like a warranty, or how does this company operate with?
The warranty will come from the manufacturer of the products, which is Toro, which I'm sure most of y'all are familiar with. They're kind of the number one in the business, and right now, our system is a mix of Toro and Rainbird and Hunter, just kind of a little piecemeal system, and so getting it all to be one component is going to be very beneficial for us.
Okay, I understand. So the manufacturer warranty, so say we have to replace a head, they'll cover the cost, but as far as like the labor or anything, that'll be on our staff too?
Yeah, we can handle the labor of replacing a head or two with our staff. We do it pretty regularly. We just can't do, what is this?
This extensive of a,
485 heads.
yeah.
Yes,
That's fair. Okay, thank you.
yes, ma'am.
Any other questions, Madam Mayor?
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Cartwright,
Yes, ma'am.
for bringing us the information. I did have and I'm sure I just don't understand it, but out of the 485, is that how many there are?
Yes, ma'am.
Sprinklers, and you said that they were done manually, so someone would have to go and turn them on. With this system, it's like pushing buttons to have it done, but the course is different based on sun and some areas. Will it just sprinkle everything, or can you denote different areas where maybe you're getting not, sun in one area that will make you have the sprinkler systems more, and then some there in shade, or how does that work?
We will have total control of the 485 heads individually.
Okay.
So we can go out there and see how the turf is health-wise, go into the computer system and say, we want these batch of heads to run for 10 minutes, and these to run for 11, and these
Oh,
to run for
great.
6, and
Okay, good.
fully customizable.
Very good. That sounds like it's going to be really a game changer. It's going to save a lot of time, labor
Yes.
for staff, and it's going to have the green. The greens are beautiful now, but it's really going to help West Pines.
And-
Mayor Pro Tem, they issued it in November, and then they received the bids by January, so it was a couple of months that, on the contract where they had it out for someone to bid on. I just saw that. I was going to just bring it to your attention. But thank you, Mr. Cartwright. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Mayor, any other questions or comments?
I just have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So I heard Mayor Pro Tem say 1.5 million. Is that, we talked about 1.2. So, yeah, that's a lot. Does that include change orders, just because if have to have some?
That does not include change orders, but we feel confident that we have everything we need in this bid packet, but change orders would be at the unit price of what is in the bid already.
So we know that supplies and everything is going up, but do we have a cap? Is that something we can do? Our attorney, is there a cap that we can, because that change order in the supply right now, that 1.2, that could go all the way up to, I'm just asking.
I think
And we still are
can-
holding the bag.
We, keeping the unit price as is going to keep the change order from ever getting out of control.
So question, is there a cap? Can we do a cap? Or is a change order can just be a change order? It can go up to what?
Can I answer that?
Yes, please.
Well, you have to vote on every change
Oh,
order.
right.
In such a situation, you've got a cap.
You have to also be careful when you put restriction like a guaranteed maximum price onto a project. You basically have to rebid it if you were going to ask for that.
Okay.
And then if you ask for a guaranteed maximum price, you're probably going to get a higher base price, because
Yeah.
contractors are going to try to price into their bid unforeseen circumstances. There's like in this case, like you pointed out, if some of the equipment or materials are imported and prices suddenly go up because of tariffs, let's just say.
They are. That's
silly as that may
realistic.
sound, they can't control that price, and so they have to be able to recover that somehow, and that usually would come through a change order.
Right.
So-
So, and we know that supplies late, so you said 150 days? Is that realistic? I mean, some things right now, those supplies coming from here?
We gave them an additional 30 days because of the current market.
Okay.
We originally were at 120 days, so That was something that they had requested with the state of
Right.
things at this moment, and we were fine with that
All
change.
right. And that's realistic, but okay. So 120 days plus an additional 30.
Correct.
All right. Okay, 150.
Councilwoman Danley, I'll
Yes, ma'am.
add that usually we do not put in a guaranteed maximum price or a not to exceed price on these unless it's a construction manager at risk
Okay.
project, and this is not a construction manager at risk project.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for
And we
explaining.
do have the
I don't any other
guarantee of the
questions.
change orders have to come before us, as
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Dodson said, for us
Yeah,
to
thank
vote
you,
on.
Mr. Attorney Dodson. I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? I like the fact that SPLOST is paying for this, so that means everybody that comes into our county to play golf from other places and are helping to pay for this system at a, so far, very successful run golf
Yes.
course, making money.
Yes,
Like
and there
that.
will be a sign up that says paid for by SPOS dollars? Yes?
I don't know.
Yes?
Certainly can be if we want to do
Yeah,
that.
please do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, that
Yeah,
makes
let-
sense.
Let the citizens know.
All right.
I wanted to
Thank
ask
you.
council if it's okay to place this item on consent agenda for Monday.
Mm.
Mayor Pro Tem, you good with that?
Yeah, I can
Okay.
handle it now.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cartwright, appreciate your presentation. Item B.
Thank you.
Authorize the mayor to sign the agreement for preferred client staffing services with Titan Global Enterprises, Inc. for event staffing and security at the Greystone Amphitheater Concert Series, funded by general fund, and the contracts may vary by concert. And Deputy Chief Davidson will handle this one.
Chairman Watts, Mayor, Council, J.R. Davidson, 2083 Fairburn Road. So this item is to approve the selection of Titan Global to provide unarmed security staff for the concerts at the amphitheater. After the RFP was posted, we had 7 bidders, which were scored by the selection committee, narrowed down, and we conducted 3 interviews with the remaining 3 bidders. After the interviews, the committee chose Titan Global. We do have experience with Titan Global. They provided unarmed security also in 2024 for, I believe, 3 of the concerts after the previous company went out of business. So the selection criteria that were used were qualifications and experience, staffing, equipment, understanding of RFP, and the fee proposal.
And if I remember correctly, you said the previous contract, the company that got it that went out of business, Titan, was second on that list.
On the previous year, correct?
Any questions or comments? Councilman Davis?
Yes, was this the security that we had last year, or this a different firm?
It was the company that did the most 3 recent concerts.
So that was last year when we first opened up the amphitheater?
No, it was,
It's a different company, so
Okay, that's when we first opened up, last 3. Okay.
So the first 3 concerts were done by the previous company?
yes.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Yes, we'll go to Madam Mayor and then Mayor Pro Tem.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Deputy Chief. You were on the committee. You feel comfortable with this group?
I
know
do.
I know it's a collaborative and everyone votes, but personally, for you, do you feel comfortable?
I am comfortable with this company. They worked well with us in planning before each concert, and they gave us what we needed each time.
Okay, thank you so much.
I spoke with Chief yesterday, and he also endorsed them, said that he was satisfied with the work they had done previously. Yes, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If my understanding is correctly, on the financial side, you kind of, looks like you had to compare apples to oranges here a bit, because their bid was $1, and so it means that they're charging strictly by the hour, whereas everyone else seems to have had a flat fee in here.
No, sir, actually, that's a result of whatever the website, when they submit their proposal to their RFP, there was one box at the time for them to put a dollar amount in. But the nature of this contract is each concert's going to have a different number of security staff that we're going to tell them before each one. So there really wasn't any way for them to give us apples to apples. So we didn't look at the bid amount dollars, we looked at the cost breakdown and compared the hourly rates for the different types of employees.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. You had to use a different level of analysis, obviously, to
Yes.
understand one bid compared to another than on this.
Correct.
I got you. Okay. I want to make sure I understood that correctly. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Going forward, these type of bids, is there a way of eliminating the way we do it for this type of work and just analysis like Deputy Chief is talking about?
We can talk to procurement staff about that. A lot of times, as Deputy Chief said, with this bid, to have a total bid amount is something that's not realistic. So just to have that cost breakdown that you see on the far right column is probably best. So we can talk to our procurement staff to kind of alter the bids to reflect that of the services that they'll have.
Yeah, the cost breakdown really is what we needed from the beginning.
Thank you. Yes,
I have
Councilman
another
Davis.
question, the experience, they did big events, they did State Farm Arena, anything?
They do other amphitheater concerts, which we learned about them for the previous bidding process, but they do other concerts in both open and closed amphitheaters. I don't remember if they have State Farm Arena or not.
Okay, because I think the one that we used before, come out of State Farm, was doing State Farm Arena. That's why I talked to one of the security people that I knew. She said they had State Farm contract, so I was just wondering, okay.
Thank you, Councilman Davis. Any other questions or comments on this item? I'd like to ask if y'all would be okay with placing this on the consent agenda also. Thank you, Deputy
Looks
Chief.
like it's okay.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you.
Item C, authorize the mayor to sign the owner's representative agreement between the City of Douglasville and Comprehensive Program Services, Inc. for planning, design, and construction project management services for the Douglasville City Hall renovation project in the amount of $510,000 to be paid from SPLOST 2022 Facilities Fund. And Mr. Adams is going to cover this.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Jacob Adams, 4150 Ashford Dunwoody Road, Brookhaven, Georgia. I'll keep this fairly brief. We just want to first off by saying it is a great opportunity to continue our working relationship with the City of Douglasville. Right now, we are currently, or have been, assisting on the Douglasville Town Green Amphitheater, the closing out of the Warm Your Kitchen addition currently, the construction of the recycling center, and moving through the design currently of the conference center renovation. We have worked with staff to provide a proposal for the program management services for the design and construction of the new City Hall for the City of Douglasville. We're excited about this opportunity. We believe that we have a great working relationship with not only the City of Douglasville, but also GMC, the city's design team, and believe that we are well-equipped and well-qualified in understanding the mission, desire, and goals for the new City Hall space, and believe that we can provide a product that's not only going to be appreciated and enjoyed by the city staff, but also the public as well, and create a great joining relationship between the two. If you have any questions specifically in regards to our proposal, I will answer those, but I just want to once again say thank you for the opportunity, and we look forward to extending our relationship with the city.
Thank you, Jacob. Any questions or comments for Mr. Adams on this item? Did a good job. No questions or
I'm bragging to Steve. Steve always gets questions.
I know, tell Steve that you did a wonderful job.
Thank you. No questions at all.
Don't tell him we like him better than Steve, though. Then
No,
make him
what-
jealous.
what makes Steve jealous?
Don't worry, I did not write that down.
I'd like to place this on the consent agenda also for Monday.
Looks like it's a go.
Thank
All
you,
right,
everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. Appreciate it. Item D, authorize the mayor to sign Amendment 3 to the agreement with Golden Mills Kaywood LLC for the City Hall construction project architectural services in the amount not to exceed $1,607,987 to be paid from SPLOST 2022 Facilities Fund. And Ms. Jackson will handle this one.
Thank you, Councilman Watts. This goes with item C, but is also a housekeeping item as well. If you all remember, in January of 2024, you approved a contract for GMC to do architectural design services for City Hall. At that time, it was for a brand-new City Hall, coming in at about $35 million. So it was a basically not to exceed amount of about $2.5 million. At that time, they started design services, and we actually, or you all actually budgeted that amount and encumbered about $2.5 million for architectural service for that firm and for those items. This would be an amendment to the actual original agreement in January of 2024 for a not to exceed amount of a little over $1.6 million. The reason why this is a not to exceed amount, because if you remember last month, when you all had your strategic planning session, we talked about this being a construction manager at risk, because it does have a maximum amount that we can go to build or to renovate this city hall. So the architectural services will not exceed the amount that's listed in this agenda item.
All right, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem, did you just wave your pen at me? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a few questions. So none of these services that are included in this contract have been performed yet, correct? Make sure.
There are a few services that were performed, but it was based upon a brand-new building, so basically starting from ground zero.
But the total sum that is asked for here, which is the 1.607 million, is all for future services?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what they've got included in here is under Article 11.2 are listed A through I, are all additional services, most of which say no change, which apparently means that they were already asking for additional services in the original contract. So they're asking for the additional services again for a contract that's now been essentially overridden. How do we have a basis to understand these charges? Like there's things like a question like landscape architecture. I mean, we're basically redesigning City Hall, which is a zero setback building. Where's the landscaping?
The landscaping will be on the outside of that building as well. So there is certain, yes, there are certain areas of landscape architecture that will have to be done for this building.
Okay, and I would assume then that includes the civil engineering as well.
It will include, for the landscape architect, well, the civil engineering, for the civil site engineering is also included in not only the landscape architecture portion of it, but also the heavy renovation of the building, the internal as well as the external.
But there shouldn't be civil engineering fees or charges for anything internal to the building. That by nature is all external work.
It will all be external, but there are portions of the building, because there are 3 buildings, so there are portions of the buildings that connect to each other they would have to do.
Okay, I'll accept that. What is construction testing including? That's a big chunk of the fee. It's item
G,
G.
149,000.
Part of the construction testing, I believe, and I can get a clear understanding of that, but when speaking to GMC, when it relates to construction testing, that also relates to, because the building sits on such a unique footprint, some of the different type of testings outside of the geotech testing they have to do, meaning utility testing, testing for the different buildings, just to make sure that they can withstand the overall demolition of some of the areas within those 3 buildings in that area. I can also no, I'm positive. I spoke with Amy Bell and GMC at length about this.
I would like to hear a little bit more detail on that.
Okay, I can get that to you.
As well as the geotechnical, because are we adding any new foundations to the building?
We are looking at water sewer component, so they did do initial technical services, but we do have to look at water sewer as well as a couple of other foundational things as well.
Okay. And finally, so the overall fee, and maybe my math is bad here, you've got 1.607, which is based, I assume, on a combination of those additional services, and then 7% of 15 million, which is the estimated cost of construction. That only gives me about 1.3 million. Is my math faulty there?
So there is an escalation of 8.2%, and that was reported through the engineering news record. So because of everything going on with cost and supply, there is already an escalation that is estimated in that 1.6 amount. So that brings up the subtotal to about 14.8. And then also adding in that 7% architecture and engineering fees. Let me see, I'm going down my list. And then adding in an environmental phase 1 report, a construction testing, and a geotech and survey, it gets the total to about 1.6. So I can also send that information to you because I have it broken down with the cost escalation to all of council. So I can send that to you all.
That's not taking the number up to 1.6 when I add the 8% accelerator. Unless it's an accelerator over like 12 years.
No, it is only by 8.2%, but it's per year. So it's about 3 years that it is escalating for every cost for every year.
Let's check on that. Let's be sure about that number.
I can send that. I have it. My math is correct in front of me, but I can send it all over to you.
I'd like to see you show your math, as we used to say.
I will send it over in the email to all of council right now.
It's very important to show your math. Okay. I think that's all I had for now. And
Okay.
You
Thank
can
you.
tell that obviously I'm not going to be in favor of the consent agenda.
Okay, any other questions or comments? One question that I had is, I don't see anything on here that has to do with potential hazardous waste, so I'm assuming that there's none in that building. I don't see a cost estimate for that, or would that?
That would not be in architectural services.
I mean, okay, so they're not including anything, that'll come down the road?
Yes, that would be through the construction manager at risk contract, but architectural services would not include that.
Gotcha. All right, if there are no other questions, I won't ask for this item to be placed on the consent agenda.
Yeah, because we'll get more information on Monday.
Yes, get more information. Thank you, Madam Mayor. That's all we had tonight under finance.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. You did a great job, and thank you to staff. We appreciate your support and input. We did have part of the DDA. I think there are some DDA board members that were here. Are they still here, Ms. Jackson?
No, ma'am, they had to run to a couple of T-ball games with their children.
Oh, well, we have to make certain, tell them that we appreciate the announcement for the reaccreditation that Ms. Collier brought, that they were a part of that. So we appreciate the DDA being here, some of the members. So I'll move on then to the next committee, which is Housing and Community Affairs Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Housing and Community Affairs Committee has no business this evening.
Thank you, sir. Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee, chaired by Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Terry Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Legislative Intergovernmental Committee has no business at this time.
Thank you, sir. Personnel and Organization Committee, I'm coming back to you, Councilman Estes.
Thank you again, Madam Mayor. The Personnel and Organization Committee has no business this evening as well.
Thank you, sir. Planning and Development Committee, chaired by Councilmember Nicole Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome.
We do have a couple of items this evening.
Yes, ma'am.
Our first is item 25-116, says to consider a request for plat approval for the purpose of splitting the 4.24 acre parcel into a 2.97 acre tract and a 1.27 acre tract located at 8888 Highway 5, Land Lot 190, District 2, Section 5, Parcel ID 0032, application by Davis Engineering in care of Dan Reeves, and Mr. James Gordon is down here to go over this item with us.
Okay.
Hello, Mayor and Council. I'm James Gordon, 6695 Church Street.
Mr. Gordon?
Yes, this property is located at the corner of Highway 5 and Veterans Memorial. There's already a business there right up near the corner. I think it's like either mattress or furniture store, it's an older store. And then there's
Like a
a
gas
shop
station.
further back near the billboard, farther down Highway 5. And what they're doing is splitting kind of halfway between there, splitting the property in half. 1.27 acres will be up near Highway 5, and then the remainder will be down toward the lower end of, I'm sorry, up near Veterans Memorial will be on the corner, and then the larger parcel will be down Highway 5.
Okay, thank you. And then I think you told me earlier that the drive will actually be off of the vacant parcel that's being split off, but the existing has access to it, correct?
Correct. The owner has 2 parcels up near Veterans Memorial, so the building itself is on a parcel, and then the parking in front, so they have a shared drive.
Okay, and so you don't foresee that, this creating any issues potentially?
No, this is an existing condition, that the building is on one parcel and the parking is on a second. It's already that way now.
Thank you for that. Council, do you guys have any questions? Yes, Madam Mayor?
I do. I'm trying to get my bearings. It's not Bright Star, it's Highway 5.
It's actually Highway 5, right where Highway 5 goes and
Under that
tees
light.
into, yes.
Okay,
If you're coming up
okay.
on the right-hand side.
Mr. Dawson's showing me where Bright Star, because I knew it was like right, almost right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And
Bright
Veterans
Star is over one
Memorial
block.
is, are they coming out on Veterans Memorial or on Highway 5?
Highway 5.
Okay. All right. Check out my bearings now. Thank you so much, Mr. Gordon. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am. Were there any other questions? No.
Yeah.
Guys, I feel like this is pretty straightforward. I don't foresee it being any issues. Are you guys okay with placing this on the consent agenda? Yes. Wonderful, beautiful. Okay, thank you. Our next item then is item 25-121. Says to consider requests for plat approval for the purpose of splitting the 66.216 acre parcel into a 48.303 acre tract and a 17.913 acre tract located at 7701 Staples Drive and land lot 673, 712, 713, 714, 766, and 767 in District 18, Section 2, Parcel ID 0001. Application by Paulison Mitchell, and Mr. James Gordon is down here to go over this and answer any questions that we may have about this one as well.
Mayor and council, this is this property, this 66 acre parcel has a Staples warehouse on it existing now. And what the applicant is looking to do is behind the Staples warehouse and the newer warehouse on Lynch Road is to add a new parcel right behind the Staples warehouse. So it will have access off of Lynch Road.
Okay, thank you. Council, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is currently zoned light industrial, is that correct?
Correct.
And so the new parcel would retain that?
Yeah,
new
yeah.
rezoning. And just make sure I get my bearings. This backs up against Sweetwater Creek Park, is that correct?
Yes, yes, that's,
And
the
the
property
reservoir.
just below it is Sweetwater Creek Park. And actually Sweetwater Creek actually runs off to the right and goes into the woods also.
Anybody know why the city of East Point is shown as the landowner?
That's,
Sweetwater Creek Park?
that's the piece of property, and it backs up into the actual lake, and the actual lake is East Point Reservoir.
Oh, that's for the city of East Point, that's their reservoir.
Correct.
We gave it to them years ago.
Who did that?
The parking lot that's right there on Mount Vernon before you cross the lake. It's been closed now since they did that work on the reservoir. I think East Point even owns that, I'm not
Wow.
sure.
Yeah, that's where,
know that.
that's where, kind of that park is where this backs up to. That's that stretch.
So even though it's in a
It's just
state,
a little off from that little park.
even though it's inside a state park, the city of East Point owns the rights to the water itself.
Yeah, but they actually own the land around the lake also, a
So
lot
that's
of
not part
land
the park
around the
actually
lake.
Right there?
A lot of the land around the lake is also owned by East Point.
Okay. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
it was years ago.
And then-
like 60s.
I guess we can't undo that, can we?
Okay. Mr. Gordon, do you foresee there being any issues by splitting this for the new warehouse to like not have access, like off the street?
No, this property is next door to the other warehouse, but the frontage is very large right there. So, I mean, you can almost fit the same size warehouse on the new piece of property than what's on that existing property. So,
Okay.
So it's a
And-
large
And then
property.
because it backs up to Sweetwater, is there anything that we need to be cautious of so that the water doesn't get, I guess, potentially polluted or damaged somehow?
Right, there are still buffers back there on that back side, and we had them to add those buffer areas to this plat. So there's a 25-foot state buffer, so,
Okay.
things of that nature, so.
And that should be sufficient then to protect the state park?
Yeah, those
Okay.
state waters are protected
Okay,
everywhere
okay,
with those same buffers.
okay. Council, do you guys have more questions? Madam Mayor?
Thank you so much, Madam Chairman. So, Mr. Gordon, I think it is denoted in item number 7, where it says that on the surveyor's notes, all streams and bodies of water may be subject to state, county, and local buffers.
Yes.
And restrictions are made by them, and the user of this survey should consult the appropriate governing authorities concerning possible buffers and restrictions.
Correct,
So
correct.
everyone would have to apply their various buffers based on exactly where it is, city, county, East Point, state, all of that, to protect it.
Well, correct. All these are City of Douglasville buffers. They'll comply with all of our buffers. Correct.
Okay.
Thanks. All right, thank you. There were no more questions? Okay, are you guys okay with placing this on the consent agenda? Look at us, we're gonna have a great meeting on Monday, okay. Thank you for that, thank you, Mr. Gordon. Madam Mayor, that is all that we have this evening
Thank you.
for planning and development.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, and thank you, Mr. Gordon. I will move on then to public improvement and beautification. That's also chaired by Councilmember Nicole Miller.
Madam Mayor, we have no business this evening for public improvement and beautification.
Thank you, ma'am. Public Relations Committee, chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
No business at this time, thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Davis. Public Safety Committee, chaired by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley.
No business tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Recreation, Culture, and Tourism Committee, chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Recreation, Culture, and Tourism has no business at this time, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Technology Committee, chaired by Councilmember Elena Hudson.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Technology Committee has no business this evening.
Thank you, ma'am. Our last committee, we do have business, is Transportation Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. We have item
welcome.
number 25-073. We discussed this earlier in our committee, but it reads as follows. Refer to the Planning Commission a proposed ordinance to amend Section 10.06H of the Unified Development Ordinance regarding a traffic study. Ms. Mia.
Okay.
Alicia Mann, Senior Program Administrator, 6695 Church Street. The purpose of this update is to provide more in-depth information of the traffic study requirements that are outlined in our UDO. This provides more of what we're looking for in our traffic studies, as well as it provides a few examples in there of what we're looking for. These updates outline the study area sizes based on peak hour trips generated, ensuring that developments outline in-depth information on forecast performance with or without the development, anticipation of freight traffic that may increase from the development, traffic volume changes, the time frame in which the study must be conducted for 30 consecutive days, as well as 12 months before they submit their development plan. Also provides more detail for phase development and mitigation measures based on the information they provide. With this update, we've also provided the table based on zoning classifications, and due to this, we would like to take this to the Planning Commission for further review and to add any updates that we discussed earlier in the committee's meeting, as well as any updates that the Planning Commission would like to see.
Thank you. So before I make comments, does anyone have any other questions that we discussed earlier? So to our Deputy City Manager, so there are some questions that we had that we want to answer. So this is just really, that I see as like an introduction. I don't want to put it on the consent agenda nor up for a vote, because we have questions that we had, like making sure you speak with Douglas County. You did say you had like a month and a half to make sure, so just advise.
On Monday, you all would have to refer it to the Planning Commission,
Oh,
but
that's
there's
right. So
still
it's gotta
ample
come back
amount of
before us.
time
Okay.
for Ms. Mann and the rest of the
That's
engineering
right.
department to make
Okay,
changes.
so you have notes of all the questions that we ask?
Yes,
So
ma'am,
that
I
when you
have
go
them
before the
written down.
Planning Commission?
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sure, but prior to that, you will talk to them, or at least the chair?
Yes, they do. I believe they have pre-meetings with the Planning Commission, so they'll be able to
Prior
talk.
to.
And then they can also send out a draft to you all, so you can see what is being presented to the Planning Commission.
Okay, perfect. So I do like this. We are setting a standard, and that's a great thing to make sure that our traffic is safe. I did ask the question about Highway 92. This isn't a part of it, but I need an answer about that, because even though it's been turned over to us, there's still accidents that are happening. So I won't make any more comments. So yes, would anyone oppose to putting this on the consent agenda? It's just an introductory, but it'll come back to us. Okay, Madam Mayor, I'd like to place this on the consent agenda. Thank you. No other items?
Oh, there he goes. It looks like there isn't an issue. Thank you so much, Madam Chairman. Thank you, Ms. Mann. We appreciate the presentation. Do we have any other business to come before council tonight? Under other business from council members? Nothing from the elected officials? All right. If not, we'll move on then to updates from our city staff. Our city attorney, Mr. Joel Dotson.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Staff attorney, Ms. Miranda Jordan.
Good evening, Madam Mayor. I did just want to give a quick update on our visit to the National League of Cities Congressional City Conference.
Yes, ma'am.
Which was held this week, March 10th through 12th, in Washington, D.C. I wanted to share a little bit of my experience meeting with some of our elected officials at the federal level. I got to meet yesterday with Senator John Ossoff and Senator Raphael Warnock. They're very open to talking directly with elected officials. They understand the benefit of federal funding directly coming to the communities. And I also got to speak to Representative Lucy McBath's legislative aide. His name is John, and he was taking lots of notes and very attentive to our needs. One of the big focuses during the conference was talking about housing issues throughout the, this is Olivia Jordan, by the way. I did not introduce her.
She's
But
talking,
She's very
too.
talkative and very, very concerned about what's happening in our country. One of the big considerations at the conference, one of the big focuses at the conference was talking about affordable housing, availability of housing, and the partnership that needs to take place between the federal government and local communities and what we can do to achieve some of those goals.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So it was a great conference, a lot of different classes. I don't have all my notes yet, so I'll make a report at a later date, but thank you so much. We'll move on then to our police department, our deputy chief, J.R. Davison.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Deputy Chief. Our Deputy City Manager, Ms. Chelsea Jackson.
Yes, ma'am. I will call our Assistant City Manager and CFO up, Karen Callan, and she'll also make a report regarding her trip to NLC this past week.
They're showing us up, Mayor Pro Tem.
Good evening, Mayor and
Good
Council.
evening.
Karen Callan, Assistant City Manager and Chief Financial Officer, 6695 Church Street. And the notes I made from the conference this past week are going to be changes, looking at changes in the federal tax policy with municipal bonds, which we already know because we adopted a resolution that Miranda had on the agenda. So we could lose tax exempt status. There's possibility of that the Trump administration is looking at to help balance the budget. Then there's a lot of discussions on ARPA. There are 2,000 cities right now that are not in compliance, so they are urging everyone that have not reported properly to make sure that they report, otherwise it could get clawed back by the government. ARPA regulations require local governments to return grant funding. That remains unobligated, so the city of Douglasville is in good shape. So just want to let you all know. There also is conversation on streamlining Federal Grants Act, and the National Leagues of Cities have joined with the National Council of Nonprofits and ICMA for that, and that is a bipartisan effort right now. They also talked about housing supply accelerators that NLC is working on, and then talked about government shutdown this Friday, possibly. So those are my notes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you from the city manager's office. We appreciate the report. So if we don't, that's all you have or from the city managers? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You're welcome. Thank you. If you sustain the meeting and you'd like to speak to us, just, you have the opportunity during this portion of comments from citizens and delegates. You can come forward and talk to us for anything you want to talk about with the city of Douglasville. You have 5 minutes. If you come forward, give us your name and address for the record. Okay, no takers, as Councilman Davis says. If we don't have anyone that wants to come forward, we do have an executive session. So I will open the floor for a motion to adjourn into an executive session to discuss a personnel matter.
So moved.
Thank you. I have a motion. Is there a second? Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. It's been properly moved in second to adjourn into executive session to discuss a personnel matter after a brief recess. All those in favor of adjourning to executive session, please say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We are adjourned to executive session after a brief recess to discuss a personnel matter. This meeting is adjourned.